It was a chilly autumn evening when a weary traveler stumbled upon a tiny shop at the edge of a quiet village. The shop's wooden sign creaked in the wind, its paint faded but still legible. Maria's Bakery and Goods. Inside, the faint aroma of fresh bread mixed with the scent of old wood and a hint of lavender from a bouquet on the counter. Behind the counter stood Maria, a middle-aged woman with kind but tired eyes, dusted with flour. Business had been slow, too slow, and she wondered how much longer she could keep her shop open. The bell above the door jingled, snapping Maria from her thoughts. The traveler stepped in, his boots caked with mud from the long road. His cloak was worn, patched in places, but his demeanor was calm, and his eyes held a gentle warmth. He approached the counter, pulling out a small pouch from his satchel. "Good evening," he said, his voice steady yet soothing. "I'll take a loaf of your finest bread, please." Maria hesitated for a moment, glancing at the man's ragged appearance. "Of course," she replied, retrieving a fresh loaf from the shelf behind her. As she wrapped it carefully in parchment, she asked, "That'll be 2 copper coins." The traveler placed a single golden coin on the counter. It was no ordinary coin. It gleamed even in the dim light, its intricate design catching Maria's eye. She gasped, picking it up gingerly. "Sir, this is too much," she said, holding the coin out to him. "I can't accept this for just a loaf of bread." The traveler shook his head, a soft smile gracing his face. "Keep it," he said firmly. "This coin has brought me good fortune. Now it's your turn." Maria's brows furrowed. She opened her mouth to protest, but the traveler raised a hand, stopping her. "Kindness has more value than gold," he said, before turning and heading for the door. The bell jingled again as he left, leaving Maria standing there, the golden coin glinting in her palm. For hours that night, Maria stared at the coin. Was it real? Was it a trick? She turned it over in her hands, marveling at its beauty, but doubting its worth. What if it was fake? What if it was cursed? Yet the traveler's words echoed in her mind. Kindness has more value than gold. The next morning, Maria made a decision. She took the coin to the town's only merchant who dealt in rare items. The merchant's eyes widened as he examined it. "This is genuine," he said, his voice tinged with awe. "It's worth more than you might imagine." With the coin, Maria bought the supplies she desperately needed to repair her shop. Broken shelves were replaced, the faded sign was repainted, and she stocked the shelves with fresh goods. For the first time in months, her shop felt alive again. Soon, customers began to return. At first, it was just a trickle, an old friend stopping by, a passerby intrigued by the smell of fresh bread. But as word spread about the shop's revival, the trickle became a steady stream. Maria's business flourished. One day, a struggling farmer entered her shop. His clothes were patched, his face lined with worry. He explained that his crops had failed and he had little to feed his family. Maria, remembering the traveler's words, decided to help. She packed a basket with bread, cheese, and dried meats and handed it to the farmer. "No charge," she said. "Just promise me you'll help someone else when you can." The farmer's eyes filled with gratitude. He took the basket and left, his heart lighter than it had been in weeks. True to his word, he paid the kindness forward. With a bit of his remaining savings, he helped a neighbor repair a broken plow. That neighbor, in turn, shared his surplus harvest with another family in need. And so, the ripple of generosity began to spread through the village. Over time, the town transformed. The once struggling community became a place of abundance and kindness. Neighbors helped neighbors, and strangers were welcomed with open arms. The town's market grew busier, its streets livelier. Laughter and music filled the air as festivals became a regular occurrence. The town thrived, all because of a single act of kindness. But the changes didn't stop at the town's borders. Travelers passing through noticed the unique warmth of the village and shared stories of its generosity in neighboring towns. This inspired others to adopt similar acts of kindness. Slowly but surely, the ripple effect extended far beyond the village, touching lives in ways Maria could never have imagined. Years later, on another crisp autumn evening, the traveler returned. The bell above Maria's door jingled once more, and she looked up from the counter. Her face lit up with recognition. "It's you," she said, her voice filled with emotion. The traveler smiled, his eyes scanning the bustling shop and the vibrant streets beyond. "You've done well," he said, nodding approvingly. Maria reached under the counter and pulled out a small wooden frame. Inside was the golden coin, now polished and gleaming, with a handwritten note beneath it. "Pass it on." She placed it on the counter for the traveler to see. "Your coin changed everything," she said, "not just for me, but for the whole town." The traveler's smile deepened. "This place is proof that kindness is more valuable than gold," he said, his voice filled with quiet pride. As he walked through the town, he saw the fruits of Maria's and the community's generosity. Children played in the streets, shopkeepers greeted each other warmly, and the air buzzed with a sense of hope and unity. The traveler's heart swelled with joy, knowing his small gesture had sparked such a profound change. In the distance, the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow over the town. The traveler disappeared into the fading light, his figure becoming one with the shadows, but his legacy remained. Back in her shop, Maria looked at the framed coin one last time before placing it back in its spot of honor. She whispered softly to herself, "A single act of kindness can transform the world." The legacy of the traveler's coin endured. Visitors to the town would often ask about the framed coin in Maria's shop, and she would tell them the story. Inspired, some would leave small gifts or donations for the town's less fortunate, continuing the cycle of giving. The golden coin became a symbol, a reminder of how one person's generosity can create a cascade of kindness. Even in distant cities, tales of the traveler's coin spread. Artists painted murals depicting the shop, the traveler, and the flourishing town. Writers penned poems and stories celebrating the power of kindness. The story became a legend, a beacon of hope in a world that often seemed cold and indifferent. Years turned to decades, and the town continued to thrive. Maria grew older, her hair turning silver, but her spirit remained as vibrant as ever. She often reflected on that fateful evening when the traveler walked into her shop. She realized that the coin was more than just a piece of gold. It was a catalyst, a spark that ignited a movement of compassion. And so, the story of the traveler's coin lived on, passed down through generations. It reminded everyone who heard it that even the smallest acts of kindness could leave a lasting impact. The coin itself, though stationary in its frame, traveled farther than anyone could have imagined, through stories, through actions, and through the hearts of those inspired by its tale. If you enjoyed this story, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to Timeless Storyscape for more inspiring tales. Your support helps us share more stories that remind us of the power of kindness, hope, and humanity. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next story.